First Man is directed by Damien Chazelle and stars Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong. The film focuses on a decade of his life, the 1960s. It starts off in 1961, where Armstrong is a test pilot in California, experimenting with the X-15, flying at the edge of the atmosphere, very similar to something like what Chuck Yeager was doing. His daughter is diagnosed with a brain tumor, and died a few months later. It's also around this time that Armstrong is selected by NASA to become an astronaut in the Gemini program. We'll follow his life up until the climactic moon landing in July of 1969. First Man is sublime. Chazelle has crafted a space movie about the greatest exploit mankind has ever achieved, and transformed it into this deeply intimate observation of a man that needs to get as far away from Earth as possible in order to heal. A man who has to isolate himself to the loneliest corner of the galaxy so he can adjust to society and his family once more. In that sense, the film ends on exactly the right image that is both emotionally and thematically perfect, and deeply simple and beautiful. There's something so satisfying about a movie finishing exactly right where it needs to, where you come out of the theater still deeply enveloped in the emotional space of the film. A couple that come to mind right off the top of my head would be No Country for Old Men or The Social Network, but I'd actually be very interested in what you guys have to say, so if you have a perfect ending, be sure to put it in the comments. To stay in line visually with the thematic elements, Chazelle and his cinematographer Linus Syngrand opt to forego the classic grandeur of space travel. They shoot most of the film in very tight shots, handheld, very greengrass documentary-like. It's all on this very granular 16 and 35mm film stock, until they break out the IMAX cameras and the very wide shots once they land on the moon and have left the confines of the spaceship, just as, if you want to put it in a very cliched way, Armstrong breaks free from the shackles of his mind. Now that's not revolutionary, but it's exactly what it needed to be, and in a way it sort of mimics the technological advancement that the Apollo program is making while the film is advancing. First Man is very much a film about perspective. Ryan Gosling even says it in the film at one point. Why is space travel important, he's asked. He retorts that once you leave the Earth's atmosphere, you see everything in a whole new perspective, and the film tries to render those perspectives.
I think it'll be more the fact that it allows us to see things that maybe we should have seen a long time ago, but just haven't been able to until now.
In space, it's very much from Neil Armstrong's point of view. It beautifully renders the sense of claustrophobia and danger that space travel represents. You really feel that you're in this tin can held together by nuts and bolts with a giant rocket strapped to your ass. In that sense, the movie that it's closest to would be Philip Kaufman's 1983's The Right Stuff. Once on Earth and in the domicile of the Armstrongs, the perspective almost shifts to be from Armstrong's wife, Janet, who's perfectly interpreted by Claire Foy. She can function as the surrogate for the audience in the emotional centerpiece of the movie. Not that we can't identify with Neil Armstrong's essentially undiagnosed depression, but Claire Foy really grounds the movie and brings it back down to earth, if you'll allow me the bad pun.
Jen, you have to trust us. We've got this under control.
No, you don't. All these protocols and procedures to make it seem like you have it under control. But you're a bunch of boys making models out of balsa wood. You don't have anything under control.
Now, we all know that Chazelle's very passionate about music. His previous films have been all about that. He collaborates once more with his usual composer, Justin Hurwitz, who delivers a beautiful score that, interestingly, uses a theremin at times, which is very reminiscent of 1950s and 1960s sci-fi B-movies, but also perfectly encapsulates the sense of isolation and loneliness. As Mark Kermode said, the theremin is the world's loneliest instrument. I have to admit that I'm extraordinarily impressed with what Chazelle has delivered. Every film that he's made has been getting better and better, as well as more complex. Technically, yes, but also emotionally. First Man is a tremendous film, one that was extraordinarily powerful and deeply resonated with me. It pays a fantastic homage to the man that is Neil Armstrong, but also to the hundreds of thousands of people that worked on the Apollo program and made this extraordinary voyage possible.
Someone call Cronkite! Have them tell the Soviets that they can go screw!
So as always, thanks very much for watching the video. Be sure to hit the like button if you like the review. And make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And until next time, see you soon.